Hi fellow Mountain Cresters. Thought I'd give you a quick video on a fixer-up that we did here at the house. We wanted to address what we felt like was excess water going down the toilet for no reason. We could constantly hear our toilets just barely running, and when you have 5 bathrooms in the house, that can get quite expensive. So we ended up shutting off the water and come back the next morning, and the entire tank would have been empty down to the bottom of the fill valve. And I'll show you why that is the case. I don't know how long it took to empty, but I can say that shutting it off at 10 o'clock at night, by 7 a.m. the next morning, it was empty. So that means that they were constantly leaking, or water was getting inside and going down the emergency tube, so you don't have a flood, obviously. So what I ended up buying was this 3-inch toilet valve flush kit, which replaces the flush valve. And this is a solid piece of plastic. Of course, the extender tube goes up and down, and it's got an O-ring in there that seals it, but that's not important because it cannot get in ultimately because the inner tube is that high, and you're not going to adjust this up so high. The one we replaced, this is press fit, and that's where the leak is. I'll show you on the other one, but that's where the leak would occur. It's not possible in this design to leak there. I also went ahead and replaced at the same time the fill valve in the same tank. This one works so much better, and in my opinion is just much better quality. Again, a solid piece of plastic, but it is solid. It's not press fit. So let me show you what was replaced and why it is inclined to leak, especially the more you use the toilet over time. Just the number of flushes is going to induce a leak eventually. So, excuse the mess. This is my workshop garage. This is the fill valve that I replaced. This is not where the problem lies, in my opinion, although maybe the valve doesn't work as well as the new one. But what I did notice was in the 3 that I've replaced, it's either our water here is so much chlorine in it, as we know. This seal was eaten up, and we've only been in the house 2 years. It was not leaking. The part, of course, that was sealed where water couldn't get to it is fine. But over time, this is disintegrating. If I was to touch this right now, it would leave a black mark, and part of it would break off. But so I replaced the fill valve, but the culprit in our problems is this guy right here. This tube is press fit into this piece of plastic. Eventually, it's going to leak. It is not one solid mold, and so the water is going into, over time, this gets loose, and it's going in here, which is, of course, the bottom of your tank. So the water goes down until it gets right to this level, and then it stops. It's not actually leaking in the flapper. It's leaking right into here. We were getting $110 water bills, and we figure a lot of that was excess water. And since we obviously pay for sewage as a factor of how much water we use, I think this is going to be a cost saver for a lot of people, especially if you have a lot of bathrooms. So let me go show you what it looks like in the new toilet. It's not that big of a deal, and it's not that hard. I just have some common fixer-upper skills. I'm not a plumber by trade, trust me. But this is the installation of the new fill valve and the new flush valve. And it works beautifully. I have made a line right here. This tank hasn't moved since I filled it. And I had the valve off for several hours after I did it to see if it was leaking, and it's not. And for me, it's real easy to tell if I have a leak because I can actually go downstairs and I can listen to the water dripping through the internal part of the pipe from the upstairs, and I don't hear that in as well. I don't have the hearing like my wife has. She can actually hear it run. I can't hear it run, but I can hear it drip. So anyway, and another nice thing about this flapper valve, and it may be true of the other one, you can adjust how much water goes out of the tank to assist in the flush. And I've cut that down in half. And I think that's also going to be a cost savings. I think I'm probably putting a half a gallon of water maybe down during a flush. And obviously, if that's enough for you, then great. If not, you just have to flush a second time. But let me give you an idea what that. So here we go. It closes that quick. Of course, the bowl is empty, and it's almost it's over half full already because we only spent about half of the tank into the toilet. And the key points, if you end up taking this on yourself, is you got to make sure that the what they call a CL line, or the critical line, which is it's a line right above this valve here. It's got to be below your handle so that you don't leak through the handle, and it's got to be above the emergency escape valve, or reservoir that I call it, below the lip of the tube here. That way, if you get a stuck open valve, you're never going to have a flood in your house. It's just going to go over the top here and then go down your toilet bowl. So that's it. And it's stopped. We're perfect. And we're right back up to that dark line again. So this is exactly what I wanted to see. $23 in parts and 30 minutes of time. And I was able to get this accomplished. I hope this helps you guys.